Just a little short video to tell you what's been going and what I've been up to. I've been putting this 300 TDI engine together on the test frame. Everything's been through the vapour honing machine and it's come up really nice. I've just got the vent cyclone separator to clean up, and I'm messing about at the moment with an old vac pump. I've got a vac pump here and it was working. It was strange, wasn't it? But it was leaking. So anyway, I know that people said that, you know, you can buy these specialised kits with rivets and the plugs that go in here, and by the way, they are a bugger to get out. Yeah, they're nasty things to get out. I had a bit of a struggle, but I found out they're actually 7/8 core plugs. Nothing special. So I've got some coming tomorrow. I'm going to try and repair this, and then we're going to pressure test it, make sure it's not leaking. So that's why we haven't done anything on that. Oh, just out of interest, how I knew it was 7/8. It's the same diameter as my clutch bushes. See? It's a pity they got a hole in the bottom. We could have used them. Never mind. Now, one other thing I've got to do. I've got to do an order to the UK very shortly. And the old engine, this is the Spanish 110 engine, but I took all the ancillaries and bits and pieces off the Maxion engine in the other shop, and what we're going to do now is going to pull it to bits and have a look what I need to order for my next UK order, because like I say, I'll try to get as many bits and pieces as I can. And also I want to strip at some point this week the transmission and have a look at the R380 and see if it hasn't got a buggered up shaft or anything like that. So there's an awful lot to do, because like I say, I've got to put all the shipping orders together now, because I can't just sort of willy-nilly order bits and pieces because it's getting expensive. But yeah, so that's what we've been doing. Let's pop along and have a look at this engine. So here it is. Look a bit worse for wear. It's kind of dirty. I think this engine was off-roaded at some point. I bought it used many years ago, and I pulled the head off just to have a look at it when I got it. But I didn't pressure test it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the head off, pull all the covers off. I'm going to check what size bearings they are, see if they're standard, and I'm also going to check the bores, because if I need sets of pistons and rings and gaskets and things like this, now's the time to do it. So this engine here is going to be my replacement long engine. I know it's a Maxion engine because it's got a sticker on the back made by Maxion in Argentina. And there's a few tiny differences, but not that bad. So let's get on with that and let's pull it apart. Right, I've got the head bolts off. When you take the head bolts off an existing engine and you don't want to warp the head, take them off the opposite way around they're actually fastened. So there's 18 bolts, so start at 18, 17, 16, 15, go backwards. We're going to bag these bolts up, because I think when I did this many years ago, I put a new set of bolts in, but this engine's been stood for years and years, because I didn't have a gearbox for it, or anything, or any ancillaries. It had all got robbed. So now's a fine chance to have a look at this and see what it's like, and you can have a look at it with me. We can share our experiences together. Saying that, I've left one bolt in. What a muppet. Right. Curtis was supposed to come and help me tidy up today. He never turned up. I was going to pay him to do some spring cleaning, but he didn't turn up. Right. Put this straight away on the parts washer. Ooh, it's a nice one. It isn't corroded. It's got a few marks on it here, but it's just like watermarks. Looks like there's had a bit of rust in there somehow. Not too bad though. Now I must have put a cheapy gasket on that one, because usually the good gaskets are marked up here with Victor Ranks, but this one isn't. Well, obviously it hasn't blown. Oops, sorry about that. Let's have a look at the block. First impressions. Yeah, it's had a bit of humidity into it down here. Not too bad though. Sooty. Hardly any wear on them at all. Very impressed with that. All the little rockery things, all the little pushy things, they're all looking nice. I wonder what size these are. I think it should be standard. Let me get a bolt and I'll see if I can turn it over. Seems to me as if the bores are standard and they're very good condition too. Can you see that? You've still got those horning marks in there. That's pretty good. It's usually a good sign. Now I've kept an old ring off the old Spanish 110. This is a standard ring, just to double check if they are standard. And that gap is lovely. So might just need a set of rings because I don't know what the mileage is on this. Anyway, that's good news, isn't it? Now, the first thing I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to just check the heights, like, because I made that mistake on the other machine, whereas there was a bent rod. So I'm just going to give this a quick double check. Oh no, they're alright. So they're all standing proud. The next job I'm going to do is stamp on here the number of the pistons relevant to the camshaft side, so that when we take it apart we'll know which piston's going to go back on which rod. Looks like the sump's been off this before. Well, at least these bolts are coming out. Yeah, on the Spanish 110 they were so tight couldn't get the bolts out. I'll take these out, I'll get back. Sump looks a bit bashed about a bit. We'll see what we can find inside. Right, let's see what we can find in the sump. Dismantling tool, available in my shop. Yeah, it's been off before because it's not like factory silicone. Yeah, you can tell, look, you can see where it's all globbed up down here. Ooh. 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 It's a bit gummy, but is that a steel crank? I think that's a steel crank, not a cast crank. It doesn't look the same. That's interesting, isn't it, boys and girls? What a lot of fun. Oh, Derek, I wish you were here. Pretty clean on the rods. Again, it's clean around this area. This isn't going to take much cleaning up. Tell you what, let's get to this pipe off. Disconnect this return. We'll take the front cover off. I'll take the back one off already. I've got the bolts out of the back. There's been no leaks out of the rear seal, so that's good. But that crank looks really interesting. There's something about it that just, when you look at the metal on it, it doesn't look like it's a cast iron one. I'll have to figure out how I can tell. Right, let's take the oil pump off. Strange how it looks, eh? Look at that, eh? There's not much washed up black stuff, is there? But by God, it's filthy, look. It's really been off-road, hasn't it? Yeah. And it's strange why there's like water. Looks like it's been going down here. Still, never mind, we'll take it to bits and clean it all up. That's that bit out of the way. Whoa! That is perfect. That, those two flats, nothing wrong with it at all. Ooh, isn't this exciting? I could crush a grape. Now, let's put the bolt back in and we'll start to knock some rods out and pistons, and we'll have a look at them, and then we can proceed to take the cam out, take the lifters out, clean off these gaskets, and then that block's ready for cleaning up. And believe me, there's not much to clean up on it. In fact, the floor's more filthy. You get some sawdust down. There's quite a heavy carbon ring round the top of the cylinder, and it's making it difficult to get the pistons out. So we use our deglazer. There is not a bit of a lip in there at all. I bet this has done nothing. Let's get this one out. You can see the carbon coming off then. Yeah. That doesn't even need a rebar. In my opinion. We'll know more when it gets cleaned up. So let me get these pistons out. I'll do the other two pistons, clean them out, and we'll try and knock them out. Well, this is interesting. While the engine was vertical, I took out the lifters, the cam followers, and I took out the cam. But as if you can see here, it looks like the bearings have worn to copper. But they haven't. There's no lead on them inside. None of them. They're all like copper. All the way through. And they're beautiful. There's not a mark on them. I'll tell you something. They're staying in. That was interesting. Right, I'm going to put this keeper plate back on here. Then we're going to try and get these pistons out, and let's have a look and see. This engine had a funny little tick. You know, I don't know what the hell it was, but it was just a little knock, and it could have been anything really. I thought it might have been a cam follower playing up a bit. I've got to go and wash my hands. I know I don't wear gloves, but I wash my hands like crazy. Look at these pistons. Look at the bearings. They haven't even gone through the copper. I could use those again. Really nice. The rings are okay. There's no sort of blow-by anywhere around here. I think a set of rings and a set of bearings, and we'll have this put right. Well, just like Joe Boxer, I just got lucky. Well, I don't know how he meant by that, but look at the caps for the bearings. Not a mark on them. Look at the crank. Beautiful. You can see here how it's thinner than a cast crank. This is a forged steel crank. Excellent. Wow, I'm over the moon with that. I mean, the bearings are so good you could put the bloody things back in again. You know, let's pick a random one up. Look at the main, for the rear bearing. How lovely. Now, I'm just going to lean that against there because I don't want it to fall off the bench, but let's go and have a look at a cast crank. So bear that in mind. Look at the thinness of the webs here. Now, this is a cast crank, cast iron. You know, a little bit of rust on it, but there's nothing detrimental about it. You can see this one's worn away a little bit here. British Leyland stamp on there, going down the drain. Yeah, completely different. See how thick those webs are, look. You know, completely different. So, I think we'll get some OEM bearings and rings and put this in. We'll check the rods out. I think it's a beauty. The cam's absolutely, like, I don't think this engine's done much at all. Look, it's still got, you know, it's not even covered in dirt and gunge. The lobes look beautiful. I'm not going to change the bearings. When it came out, they were lovely. So, I don't have to put down much for my shopping list, like pistons and things like that. They're going back in. You know, sometimes you don't need to measure stuff. I know it sounds crazy. You just look at it and think, that's good. You see honing marks? How much better can it be? You know, if there was great big scores and things like that, well, that would be a different thing. But before I start blowing my trumpet and thinking everything's hunky-dory, we're going to clean off that block, get it cleaned off as much as possible, maybe with a power wash or something like that, and then have a good look at it, see what the bores are actually like, see, make sure there is no scars. But by looking at the sides of the pistons, nothing on them, nothing on them at all. Oh, happy day. See you later.